I'm trying to solve the world's biggest problem, which I think is people don't believe in themselves enough.
Evan, Carmichael is in the house.
Susan is in the house.
Hey, he's in the house, and we are going to jam. We're going to have fun.
Okay. Yes.
I'm going to ask you some unscripted questions.
Ooh, those are my favorite.
I know it is. And so it's going to be surprises all along. Okay. And I'm going to ask you some questions about me.
Ooh. Okay.
So it'll be a surprise to me as well.
Okay. Well, I'm ready. This is like an extra Christmas present. Let's go.
I want to share with you that I always think of you as the YouTube king. You know, with 3.2 million subscribers and over 300 billion viewers, this is how I thought of you. And in the Genius Network that I joined last year, you were always helping people, always teaching about YouTube and asking people's questions. And so you were like the YouTube guy. And then I bought your book.
There it is. Okay.
And then I bought Built to Serve, Find Your Purpose and Become the Leader You Were Born to Be. And I thought, wow, now I'm getting to know the real Evan. Now I know that he is a messenger and he's on a mission. So Evan, tell me, what is your message and what is your mission?
Well, what a great intro, and honored to be here. Can't wait to dive in and do all this fun stuff with you. I'm trying to solve the world's biggest problem, which I think is people don't believe in themselves enough. And I think everybody's got, talk about messenger with a mission. I think everybody's got what I call Michael Jordan level genius at something, that you could be the best in the world at something, but you don't believe in yourself enough to chase it down, and you don't believe that it's actually possible. And it's probably not what your parents did for a living. And it's probably not what you went to school for. It's probably something totally different. And lack of belief, I think, is that giant problem. And that's what I'm on a mission every day trying to solve.
And that's why I feel so excited and aligned with you. I want to share with you at Christmas time every year, I bring out this door hanger.
Look at that. I like it. Believe. Look at that.
And I thought, why do I only have it up at Christmas? I think it's going to be up all the time, because the message in the land of I can is believe, trust, and take one step. So belief is, it's what we need as fuel to move us forward. And I know, even knowing that, I get stopped in my tracks. And you know that because I didn't want to be visible. And I think you share that something like that as well. Here you are, YouTube king. Let's talk about being an introvert like I am, and some of the hurdles that you came up against that were stopping points for you to be able to believe in yourself and move forward.
I mean, so many, and it's still something that I deal with today. I mean, I don't think it ever goes away. We're just capable of taking on bigger dragons, you know? For me, I had a lot of limiting beliefs at the start. I'm introverted, I'm shy. The people who seem to do well on camera, on TV, on YouTube seem to be extroverted and naturals. And I deal most with entrepreneurs. So I think of Kevin O'Leary or Donald Trump or Mark Cuban, like people who they like being the center of attention. They liked having the camera on them, and that's how they won. And I thought, oh, okay, that's cool. So that's how you win. But that's not me. So I guess I can't do that. And I just accepted that. And it took me a long time to build up the courage and confidence. And I always had this, I mean, talk about being a messenger. I always had this pull to want to serve and to help. I'm a big believer that your purpose comes from your pain, that whatever you struggled the most with is what you want to help other people through. So I'm still really just talking to 19-year-old Evan who was struggling to get his first business off the ground. Like that book, my videos, this interview, I'm really just talking to 19-year-old Evan because there are millions of 19-year-old Evans out there. So I always felt this pull to help, even though being introverted and shy, I felt was this impossible roadblock to overcome, but I would still try and do the best I could with what I had and have my little impact. It wasn't until this took, when did I start YouTube? April 2009. So it's been a minute.
Yes, it Yes.
It took 350 videos before I wasn't completely embarrassed by myself, where I couldn't watch my content back. I'd watch a video I made, like, oh my gosh, it's so bad. Next, just couldn't watch it. And 700 videos before I inspired myself with the video, Susan, where I watched it back and like, hey, you know what? I'm kind of getting good at this. 700 videos later, I had this one moment. And so why keep going, and why keep building, and what encouraged me to just continue to make? Well, I never thought I'd be YouTube famous or build a big brand or anything. I just felt, you know what, it's helping some people. And if 18 people watch it, or 32 people watch it, or 118 people, whatever it is, it's helping some people, and it feels good to serve and help. So I'm just going to keep doing it. And I honestly think that's been one of the biggest foundations of the success, is most people quit way sooner than I did. I mean, the only thing I had was I just kept going. It took, I forget how many years. I post my numbers every month on my Instagram account of how long it took me to get my YouTube channel going. And 5 years in, I still had only a couple thousand subscribers, right? After 5 years of making content. And so the only thing that kept me going was I just felt like what I was doing mattered to some people.
Yeah,
to a
that's
few
the
people.
fuel, isn't it? When we know, that's why the title of your book is so beautiful, Built to Serve. When we are truly coming from that heart space of serving, that's the fuel that keeps us going. It's not the number of views. It's not the number of subscribers. It's not the money in the bank. It's we're doing it because it's what we know our purpose is and what we're supposed to be doing in the world. I want to share, and this is one of the vulnerable pieces, is that that I reached out to you when I wanted to do this channel. And it's because I like to have conversations. And if I'm going to be more visible, which is a real challenge for me, then I'll do it in conversation with people, because that's what I love to do. And you said, that's great, Susan, but you have to do your own videos. You have to do solo videos. And when I invited you to come on this show, you said, I'll do it, but first you have to do your coming out video. So I did a pinky promise with you virtually.
She did it.
I did it. And I got to tell you, that was the hardest thing to do. But what I know is that it does take courage. That's my lion in the background. It takes a lot of courage to do something that you're not comfortable with, but it's even more courageous to keep doing it if nobody's watching, and keep doing it when you're not getting the results, because there is no easy button. People want to be able to press a button and get 1 million views. It doesn't work that way. So the fuel that you have is so evident. It's so obvious, and it's beautiful. You're such a beautiful, shining example, Evan, of what it looks like to believe that you were on purpose and that you are doing it. So I have questions for you.
Okay.
In your book, you've got kind of a 3-step process and a 5-step process. And so since we only have a limited amount of time, I'm going to go the 3-step. And you talk about finding your who. Now, I always think of finding your who is your audience. I do that so much with people that I'm helping, I'm coaching to find their audience for their book, and that golden idea that's going to resonate with your audience. But you kind of turned it around. And the who in your book is knowing who we are to guide us to our purpose. And the 3 questions that you ask is, who is your favorite teacher and why? What was your favorite movie? And what is your favorite song? So if I share those with you, would you give me some feedback on what you think my purpose is?
Oh, wow. Okay. Let's go.
Live coaching, right?
Let's do it.
So my favorite teacher was my German teacher, Frau Briggs. Okay. And it was because she offered a German club for those of us that wanted to join, which not everybody did. And in the German club, we made German music. We did German dancing. We ate German food. She made it an experience. A full immersion is what we would say today. And I loved her. And she was not forgiving. Once you entered her classroom, you only spoke German.
How did she make you feel about yourself?
At first, totally incapable, because if you wanted to ask for a pencil because you'd forgotten one for the class, you had to figure out how to ask for it in German. There was no English spoken.
Mm-hmm.
So she made me feel at first incompetent. But what I felt as I continued in the class was a sense of belonging. Because she created this atmosphere where everybody had a level playing field. And it was up to us whether we joined the German club, how far we went with our lessons. I took German 1, 2, and 3 with her, but it was a sense of belonging and it was an experience.
Okay.
My favorite movie, this is hard because there's 2 of them. One of them, and you're not going to know either one of them.
Okay.
Ryan's Daughter was a movie.
What?
Ryan's Daughter.
Ryan's Daughter. Okay.
It was released in 1970. I don't think you were even born yet, Evan.
I'm 1980.
Okay. So Ryan's Daughter, and it's about a small Irish town in, I think, early 1900s, very fixed process of living in that town and rules to follow. And Ryan was the bartender. He owned the bar. And so his daughter was married off to an older man who was a school teacher because that's what they did. And she broke out of the shell. She did things that were not acceptable in that culture, and she kind of paid for it. But it was, to me, beautiful to see her break out. Now, at the time, I was married, and I was happily married. My husband passed away 5 years later. But there was this beauty of this person who was going out of the culture. And what that meant for me is that 5 or 6 years later, when my husband passed away, I needed to do that. So there was something, I don't even know what the word is, Ryan, or that Ryan's Daughter elicited for me, Evan, it was courage. There it is. It was courage. That woman had courage. My favorite song is Happy by Pharrell Williams.
Wow. Because
and
I'm happy. Okay.
I love the line that says, come along if you feel like if you're a room without a roof.
If you're a room without
a roof.
Okay.
And that to me says growth. Like happiness is like, again, it's kind of like tree growing, expanding, and being happy.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think my purpose is?
When I go through this process, so your who, I don't call your purpose. Your purpose is your why, which comes from your pain. But your who is your single most important core value. It's a combination. It's interesting. I love like the examples. And when you say what it is, it doesn't matter. It's like, why? Why is she your favorite? Why the German teacher versus all the other teachers? I love knowing you, I love the message of the line and the courage behind it. But then there's also these other layers. Like the whole belonging thing is very interesting. And happy is very interesting. So what did you actually finish the exercise, or are you still kind of working through it?
Well, I went on through the book, because then it goes into 5 things that you want, like who is somebody that you look up to, and it's Walt Disney. I just love his creativity and everything that he stood for. So Walt Disney, and I forget what one am I missing now?
Parents. What did you love about how your parents?
Oh, okay. Thank you. I love that my parents always said I could do anything I put my mind to. I come from, talk about German, kind of a very German conservative. My dad worked in the steel mills. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, baking, cooking, taking care of the house. But it was a very conservative, you do what we tell you to do, follow the rules type of thing. But as juxtaposed, they also said, Susan, you can do anything that you put your mind to. So that was their supportive message to me.
And after doing all that, did you arrive at one word, or are you still trying to figure it out?
I'm still trying to figure it out.
The interesting thing for me is if you had just asked me kind of, and I hate picking, like, it's not on me to pick what your one word is. It's you. I can just help kind of guide and uncover. The lion and courage message is an easy one, and one you already resonate with, and obviously is on your background, and you've had to do a lot of things that required courage. But I actually think it's only a piece. I don't think it's the main thing. I think it's a piece of the main thing.
Okay, so let me tell you what. So let me tell you what I did write down.
Okay.
Because I didn't think I was there, but maybe I was.
Okay.
I put down that my message is hope.
Okay.
And underneath that is belief, trust, and then it's all these C's: confidence, conviction, change, and courage.
Confidence, conviction. What was the third one? Change.
Confidence, conviction, change, and courage.
Change and courage. Okay.
Because I really had to facilitate a lot of change in my life. And I didn't realize that I was doing that. You just do what you need to do. But I find now that we're often where people get stuck is making that change from like a fixed identity to a dual identity, where they're bringing who they've been their whole life into this place forward, and that navigating that change, that transformation. So change, I think, is a big part of who I am due to circumstances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything you've gone through.
Belief and trust and take one step, I think, might be one layer down from that belief that there was always hope for a better life. There was always hope that I was destined for more, which is the name of the book I've been working on for 2 years now. But I really always had this belief, like there's more. I'm not going to stay stuck in small town Pennsylvania as a young widow and, having lost my mother. There's more to life. So I think it might be hope.
What do your clients say about you? Obviously you get results, and
yes,
like about dealing with you, like about dealing with Susan.
What I hear from them is that they couldn't be where they were where they are now without me. They give me a lot of credit for the support and the guidance. I call myself a guide, not a coach or a mentor, but I'm a guide. And so I get a lot of appreciation and accolades for helping people to navigate that fixed identity to something more.
So I'm going to throw a couple things at you, and you can tell me what fits.
This is so fun. Evan at work.
I'm taking, if I'm looking away, because I loaded a notepad file. So I'm not looking, I'm listening, I'm taking notes. So how you know it's right? It feels more and more right, or it feels more and more wrong. So you can tell me how it sits and how it feels inside you, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay.
From everything that you've been talking about, I would actually put belong at the top. If you think about the teacher making you feel like you belong, like look at this teacher who's pretty hardcore. Why her? Out of all the things that you learned, well, she made you feel like you belonged, and she created that experience for other people, for you and other people. If you look at Ryan's daughter, it's a struggle of the girl finding a place where she belongs, because it's not being this guy's husband. And it's not being in this small town Irish town. And I don't know the movie, but just from your kind of description from it.
Yeah.
If you look at your story and everything that you've created, that transition, one, I would think that you actually give an environment of belonging for your clients, that they come to you when I'm sure your clients have told you things that they haven't told any other human. Just
That's
because
true. It's a very intimate. Yes, we have a very intimate space together.
You make them feel accepted and belonging in a way that is weird. It's like, I'm hiring Susan to help me with this, but why am I explaining all of this stuff from my past and my deepest insecurities? Like, I could see that. I haven't sat in on your sessions, but I just get the vibe from you that people, the belonging experience you create, you basically hold space for them to be able to share things that other people don't, and they'll tell you things that they haven't told maybe their husband or wife or closest friends, because you make them feel like they belong. And then also you and your journey to, okay, your husband passes, that was your identity. Now, how do I find a new place for me to belong? What does that look like? And where do I go from there? That was the message that just kept coming up over and over and over for me as you were sharing all of these different examples, is the world of belonging. And even you look at Disney, he wanted a place. Why did he build Disneyland? Well, he wanted a place for parents and kids to be able to play together, to have a place where they all belong together and create the happiest place on earth, which is kind of what you do. You like create your happy is your favorite song. You're trying to create happy, right? So if I'm you, and there's no kind of, maybe you won't know right away, but you just sit on it. I would think about belong at the top, as this is what you want to spread hope, but how you do it is by making people feel like they belong. Before they can do anything else, they need to feel like they belong. And it's a constant mission of self-belonging, that I feel like I belong even just within myself, and then also belonging within a greater context, community, work, friendships, relationships, all that. But it all starts with I need to feel like I belong within myself first. And I'm sure you have all sorts of strategies and to help people. In the book, under that section, under your who, then we figure out what your credo is. And that's the three things that make up. So what does belong mean to you that it might not show up in the dictionary definition? And so what I wrote down was some version of happy, love, support, guidance. Like you create a safe space for people in a really loving, whether it's again, happy, love, support, smile, just a warm soul. And that's what you want to be able to spread out to the world. But then there's also this like hard push with you too, is that you're not just some sunflower that anybody can step on and, just get beaten up by the world. It's like, Susan's really nice, but you don't want to get in her way either.
People have said, you don't want to hear me roar.
Yeah. It's like, it's also partly why you like that teacher growing up. It's like, okay, because she held people accountable and she pushed people outside their comfort zones, and to be able to do that in a loving and graceful way, in a happy way, the way that you do it is a unique talent and skill. But some kind of push, accountability, no BS, no excuses. I'll love and accept you, and we're still shining a light of truth on what has to get done here. Like, this isn't just kindergarten time. We're just going to sing together. We're going to get stuff done. Right. So that's interesting, that interesting balance. And in creating that accountability, you actually make them feel like they belong even more, that somebody is calling me out and pushing me in a loving way, not in an opinionated way, but in a loving way forward, because she actually understands who I am. And then courage, I think, fits. Like, you're giving people the courage to then go off and do it. So that's where my head was going as you were sharing. It's like belong, and then some form of happy, love, smile, support, guide, like the touchy-feely, lovey stuff, but then also the push, accountability, no BS, and then courage.
You nailed it, Evan.
All right. It's just my notes, I just took notes.
Nailed it. It's kind of that thing where, and this is where coaching is so valuable, is that we can help other people, but it's awfully hard sometimes to see who we are for ourselves. In addition to the book Built to Serve, you have other books that you have written, and you also have a couple programs. Now that you've done this beautiful work with me, do you want to talk a little bit about those programs? And I'll be dropping some things in the text box of this video.
Yeah. I know we're already kind of at time. That's crazy. Holy cow. Time flies when you're having fun. Yeah, but I think that's the greatest thing ever. That was super fun for me too, to go through that process. In terms of programs, Built to Serve is the book we kind of just went through the first section of. Your One Word was the one that came before it. I have programs like Movement Makers and Brandlytics if you want to train on building your following and getting your message out there. Designed for thought leaders and people who have a message. And then Genius Network. We're both a part of Genius Network. It's how we met. These amazing humans who are all successful entrepreneurs who are also givers and want to see each other win. And that is just geniusnetwork.com. But more than anything, I think it's just seeing you grow, seeing this show come to life, being a small part of that push and that success. And I'm super excited to see everything that this ends up becoming this year.
Thank you. Well, you're being very humble to say you were a small part of it, because it was, watching you in action for last year, and then all coming together, and then your willingness to take some time with me to encourage me to do individual videos. And I've only done one, but I will do more. I promise you. And it's been an honor, Evan. I can't wait to see you in person. Are you going to be at Genius in Phoenix in February? Can you make it down?
Maybe. We're like in lockdown mode in Canada and all of these. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with flights and everything opening up. But
well, someday soon. And
it's going to happen.
Like this has been very intimate. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Evan. And for anybody who wants to know more about Evan, just read the notes below if you don't already know who Evan is.
And give Susan some love. If you like this, drop a like, give her a comment, tell her what it means to her, to you, give her some encouragement along this journey, because we all need a little bit of help from our friends sometimes.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Evan.
Thank you, Susan. Cheers.